Peace and grand rising to the sovereign, original, indigenous, natural divine heirs. Today is August the 22nd, 1442 on the ancient moon calendar, 1441 on the ancient sun calendar, and 2021 on the ancient Greco-Roman calendar. I am all rise and stand. This is a sovereign, original, indigenous, ancient, universal, Moroccan, Moorish, American Article 3 Concert Court action. I am Sovereign Living Justice, Pauline Denise Ritchie, in capitis diminution nolo, in red ink, in propria persona sui juris, in proprio solo, and in proprio heredes. My free chosen sovereign appellation is light to jury bay, in capitis diminution nolo, in red ink, in propria persona sui juris, in proprio solo, and in proprio heredes. No United States corporation, company, citizen, nor their agents, principals, heirs, nor assigned have personam jurisdiction over me, nor over any more. So the first thing that we want to get right on into is something that I came across in my study this week. I'm not sure how many of you remember Idi Amin. Idi Amin. He was Uganda's quote-unquote leader, the leader of Uganda. So the leader of Uganda, before he was assassinated, okay, Idi Amin said some things to us. He wanted us to know some things, okay? And I want to show you just one little snippet of something that he said to us back then that we must know today. It is proof that everyone knows who we are, and we were the only ones who didn't know who we were. But the whole rest of the earth, I've come across video after video after video, and now a lot of the videos that are coming out are videos that were not previously even allowed to be put up on the public record. They wouldn't even allow that to happen, but now that we're awake, we can see those videos. And it's videos of people like Muammar Gaddafi and all of them speaking directly to us or saying things about us in their efforts to free themselves. However, nationality was not there. They were not there yet because we were not there yet. So they spoke to us in the best way that they could. So I have a link here on the screen. I'm going to go ahead and click on it so we can hear this video. It's a 1 minute and I think it's 1 minute and 30 seconds video of Idi Amin of Uganda, and he was assassinated, but he had a message for us that I think is interesting for us to hear. So I'm going to go ahead and put that message up so we can hear it. Just a moment, and I want to make sure that we can see. Just a moment. We will get it started. And I want to make sure we can hear it too. skip ads and go to the video. Okay.
The black people in America must be the president of the United States of America, must be the secretary of state like it. They are more brilliant than Kissinger. Kissinger is not very intelligent. Kissinger always goes to the weakest leaders. He never goes to Gaddafi. He never comes to General Amin. He fearless. Yes. And the Medina should be today under the control of the Israelis. But because they lost the war in 35 days, they couldn't continue even further. And that's why we stopped. But their aim is to cut the Mecca and the Medina. All the holy places all over the world should be controlled by the Israelis. This is their aim. I have got this book with me. And I am sure after we finish here, I will give you the copy of the book, but you read my copy today here, and you give it back to me because if Israel find it, they will buy the whole copy, and they don't want the people in the world to give it. I will give it in here. It is a book of the Israelis, which is the teaching of the elders of the Israelis, of the Zionists. People in Africa, the black people in America must be the president of the United States of America, must be the secretary of state like Kissinger. They are more brilliant than the...
Are you listening, Elmer Fudd Bay? Or Crackhead Portia?
He never goes to Gaddafi. He never comes to General Amin. He fearless.
Y'all listening, you dumb moops? You listening to Pauline's stuff? Hey, Pauline, why don't you do a demonstration where you go into a bank and deposit the dollarium? Lead by example. Show your people how you can do it. You give all the instructions on how to do this stuff. You give all the instructions.
Grow up. This is their end. I have got this book with me, and I am sure after we finish here, I will give you the copy of the book, but you read my copy today here, and the black people in America must be the president of the United States of America, must be the secretary of state like it. They are more brilliant than Kissinger. Kissinger is not very intelligent. Kissinger always go to the weakest leaders. He never go to Gaddafi. He never comes to General Amin. He fearless. Yes, and the Medina should be today.
Okay. We'll stop it there. The book that he was referring to is Protocols, the Protocols of the Meetings. Here, let me put it. Protocols of the Meetings of the Learned Elders of Zion. So, did you hear what he said about, he was calling us black, but he knows we're not black. Okay. But did you hear what he said? He said that the quote-unquote black people of America should be the president of America, of the United States of America. And they should be the Secretary of State of the United States of America. And then he referred to Henry Kissinger, which you can do your study on him, because he was the one who actually groomed Barack Obama for his position. But what he's saying and what we've all known is that those positions in their original sovereign status are our positions, okay? yes, the moorishe divan is the same thing, except they just have different parallel name appellations for that position. Okay, but what he's saying is correct. But we have to know exactly what that means. Okay, because what that means is that he knew who we were, and he knows that we're far more intelligent to run the vast estate than anyone else. So I'm going to put in the chat the link to the video so you can watch it for yourself, him telling us who we really are. I'll put that in the chat. That's the video. And then I'll put these links under this video on YouTube as well, so that it can be seen there as well. Okay. There. And another reason why, so we want to be sure that we know that we're the only ones. We don't have to convince other people. They already know. We're the ones who did not know who we were. Okay. So the links to that video is in the chat. And it'll be underneath this video as well. So now I'd like to give just a quick assignment, and it's not really an assignment because you can't tell Moors what to do. Just one moment. I'm going to, let's see, how do I want to handle that? Okay. So I'd like for us, now that we know that we have the authority, and that's really what he was saying, is that we have the authority to do the things that we're doing. Okay, we absolutely have the authority. That's what the currency controller document is all about. It's also what the Unum Sanctum document is about. It's also what the sovereign governor document is all about. Just one moment. It's also what all of the documents that we have put on the public record thus far. Those documents are so that we realize and utilize our own sovereign authority. So what we want to do now, I would like to encourage you more to take the sovereign currency controller and the postmaster general documents that we put under the last video and use them as a guide to craft for yourselves on Moorish government letterhead a sovereign universal Article 3 Surgeon General affidavit, because this is regarding vaccine. Okay, it is our job to protect those who are under our protection, our heirs, etc. And so we know that we have the even higher authority than any Surgeon General or any postmaster. That's not us. So I would encourage you to do a sovereign Surgeon General affidavit that states your sovereign authority. Study what the Surgeon General does so that you can issue some protection by way of a one-page affidavit. It doesn't have to be long because, again, the currency controller affidavit and the sovereign postmaster affidavit, those are not long affidavits. They're like a page and a half at the most, 2 pages. Okay, issue those documents and protect your heirs and notify everyone with those documents. Okay, Study the position so that you know what their responsibility of the Surgeon General is, and then go ahead and craft your document. Okay? So now let's move forward to part 2 of this meeting. We're talking about the full moon fast because most of us, many of us are on a fast at this time where we're doing a 3-day fast of some kind, and it's up to Moors how they choose to fast. Some can fast. The one that we prefer is a water-only fast for the entire 3 days, and that's the one that we've chosen to do. However, there are other fasts that you can do, sun up to sundown, no food, or you can fast from meat, you can fast from negativity, you can fast from bad energy, you know, and just make it a conscious effort to stay away from negative energy, okay? So if you have not started your fast, go ahead and start it tonight at 9 or at midnight. We started ours at 9, but we'll end it tomorrow at midnight, so that you can get in alignment with yourself first, okay? So the full moon fast is August 21st, 22nd, 23rd. Today is the 22nd. The surgeon moon of abundance is what we're observing as well, and we're using the energy of that moon in order to accomplish the things that we want to accomplish in the spirit realm first, as above, so that it can manifest here below in this dimension. Surgeon moon of abundance is also known as the fruit moon, the grain moon, and the green corn moon. It is called the August full surgeon moon because at this time of year, our Algonquin ancestors would converge onto the Great Lakes at Michigama Territory and other lakes, but Michigama Territory in particular, and fish for the prehistoric surgeon fish, which grew to up to more than 12 feet long. Today, we are at the time where the electromagnetic energy is highest on the earth. What does this mean for us? It means that we as the currency controllers, because currency is not just currency as in money, currency is also the electrical current. We as the currency controllers can bring to us that which we place our sovereign electrical thought energy on, because as we know, our minds work by electrical connection. Okay. Past examples of this that where we have actually placed our sovereign energy and thoughts together and manifested would be, we've done it many, 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 many times. But one of the past examples of this is when we focus on unity by saying that we speak with one voice. This is manifesting because now the things that we've been saying that people were saying, you all, that is crazy and that doesn't make any sense and all of this, we're now seeing that other Moors are seeing that and speaking with one voice with us. Okay, we're all speaking together the same thing. We're all saying, yes, this is the way that we want to self-determine. We want to determine our own government and the way we do the law. We want to determine that ourselves, and we're all starting to speak here with one voice. That is a manifestation of what we've been saying. So we have to simply listen for the unity, and you'll hear it. Okay, we'll hear the unity. All we have to do is listen for unity. Don't listen for discord and all of that. And I'm not telling Moors what to do, but what I'm saying is our focus should be on listening for the unity part, and we will hear them. Those who don't listen to unity are going to hear a whole bunch of other things bombarding them and coming at them. But when you listen for unity, you'll hear it. When you listen for prosperity, you'll hear it. When you listen for oneness and for allodial sovereign energy, you'll hear it. When you listen for ancestral energy, you'll hear it. So that is how manifestation is done. We speak it, and then we continue to demonstrate, and then watch it manifest. Okay? We are seeing now specifically with this particular surgeon moon that we're speaking with one voice more and more and more every day. Does that mean we're always going to agree? It doesn't mean that we're all going to be seeming to agree. What it says is that we see what the law says and we're going to obey the law. Okay? So fasting makes the electrical energy flow through us faster than lightning, and it attracts to us that which we meditate peacefully on. Peace energy assists this electrical flow, okay, because peace energy is not resistant. Peace energy is a flow. War energy is a resistor energy. It's a fighting and a battle energy that stops or hesitates or inhibits the things that we want to manifest. It is a resistor of sovereign manifestation as it creates obstacles to slow the electromagnetic wave patterns that we attract when we are manifesting. So peace energy is the most important energy that we can ever use.
Can't just one of you go to a bank and record you depositing dollarium?
It's the most important energy that we can use, okay? Now, we're using this time of fasting in unity with the full moon of abundance to manifest all that we desire for our nation, for our heirs, and for ourselves, okay? So that is what our fasting is all about, and that's why we chose the full moon time to do it, because the energies for the full moon say we win, we win, we win, that we've already won, and all we're doing is walking out the win. The hybrids know that. They already know it's a wrap on anything that's not sovereign and allodial and everyone in their proper status. They know that. So let's keep going with the fasting, and we do plan on fasting each and every full moon. Every month, whenever there's a full moon, we want to fast the day before the full moon, the day of the full moon, and the day after the full moon. Okay? That is the suggested, because you can't tell sovereigns what to do, that's the suggested time of fasting. But some may be led to fast every Friday because it's Holy Friday. Some may be led to fast permanently from certain things. That is absolutely up to each more. Okay? But for the sake of national unity, we're suggesting that all of the sovereigns fast every full moon, the day before the full moon, the day of the full moon, and the day after. And that way, and then during that time period, listen to what the ancestors have to say, and then write out. After your fast is over, start demonstrating your sovereign status. Write what they've told you, write what they've shown you, and then demonstrate it. That's when we get the clearest energies and the clearest messages and the most clarity coming through, is when we prepare our temples to receive the electromagnetic messages and energies and wavelengths, okay, and the higher frequencies. Our temples are a lot cleaner and clearer and smoother, and drink lots and lots and lots of water. No matter what you're fasting from, drink lots and lots of water. So are there any questions or comments about the things that we said thus far? Because, again, everyone knows who we are. We just needed to know. Okay, part 3 of our meeting today, I want to address some things that hopefully most of you saw House of Reawakening Minds this past Friday, hopefully. Our Grand Sheikh, Taj Tariq Bey, spoke on this Friday on in Capitis Diminution principles. And we're again, more manifestation of us unifying as a nation and moving forward. We have to move forward. So I wanted to add some clarification to the dollarium piece, because there has been some questions about the dollarium and about the value of it and what it really means and all of that. So we want to add some clarification there with the dollarium. I did hear, and this past Friday was not even the first time I've heard that, and it's true. Some Moors in general are saying, well, we're the heirs. We could use toilet tissue as money. It doesn't matter. We're still the heirs, and they still have to honor it, which is absolutely true. We chose the dollarium piece because all law is specific, and we wanted to specifically address and speak to and rebut properly the fiat. That actually had to be done because proper rebuttal is everything. Okay? Because when a rebuttal is not properly done, then that's kind of what got us into the mess that we came out of, is we never rebutted anything that they were saying. And then when we did start rebutting, we were not totally competent in energies and in the things we were saying at first, and fortunately the ancestors honored the things that we were saying at that time, knowing that we would keep our spirits open so that we could continue the grand rising of getting better and better and more competent at the things that we say and do, our demonstrations. So this could have been done. Fiat has been rebutted many different ways. Fiat has been rebutted by liens, court actions. Moors have done many different ways of rebutting fiat, okay? We chose to rebut it with dollarium because dollarium is a point-for-point rebuttal. Point-for-point rebuttal. Sovereign, allodial, gold-back rebuttal to fiat. Anything that's on the fiat, we needed to rebut it. Whatever is on it, we needed to rebut it. The symbols that are on it, we needed to rebut that. The words that are on it, the signatures that are on it, the use of it, we needed to rebut that. So I wanted to add some clarification to who we give dollarium to, because that's important. Because over the past, since our introduction of dollarium, we have heard Moors get a little bit confused as to who we're giving the dollarium to. What was said this past Friday about who we give it to is absolutely correct. Corpses cannot use dollarium. We're not giving it to corpses, okay? So for clarification's sake, I wanted to put this on the screen. Are we giving the dollarium to corporations and corpses, or are we giving it to Moorish subjects ipso jure? See, we know, just like us, the hybrids had two supposed identities. There was a corporate covering over the hybrid. That's them acting in corporate status and being black dead corpses and thinking they have some authority over Moors. But when we raise them from the dead, that same hybrid becomes a Moorish subject ipso jure right in front of our faces. The transformers, they transform right in front of our faces instantly from the dead to the living. Then we can give them dollarium. So let's discuss two people, okay, two people named Becky and Bob. Becky and Bob, and I'm breaking it down this way so that we have a good, clear understanding of exactly what we're doing, okay? So Becky and Bob are citizen subjects on our land. Becky is also a cashier, and Bob is a security guard at XYZ Corporation. When Becky and Bob are at work, they are in black corpse dead status, period. Why? Because they signed corporate contracts with XYZ Corporation. Okay, this is what that was the status of all subjects before we all woke up, okay? That was the stat, and some are still pretending to act that way, okay? In some territories, some are still thinking they're dead corpses. So now, Becky and Bob at XYZ Corporation, you know, let's say one of us goes into XYZ Corporation because it's on our land. And Becky and Bob say, oh, you can't come in here without a mask. Well, Becky and Bob are actually out of order, and they're proving that they're in dead status. So when we took dollarium to the Secretary of State's office at the Capitol here, our Capitol, it was not done before we did a lien and a court action and moved that corporate covering off of them so that they would not come talking that trash, that corporate trash, and some of them would still talk it, and then you speak your court action, okay? So instead of warring with Becky and Bob, the corpses, Becky and Bob in black ink and capital letters, whenever they say, oh, you can't come in here without a mask, that's a war chant. It's a war chant. And they want us to war back with them by pretending to be citizens who are arguing with the citizen codes and statutes. That's where that whole, them calling people terrorists, which they've never called us terrorists because they can't even speak to us. They've never called us terrorists. They call people terrorists when we Moors go into places and we don't state who we really are and then put them in corporate status at law. Okay? We can't just say it. We have to actually put the law in place and be the law at that time. Okay? Or beforehand. So Becky and Bob are corpses now because they're at XYZ Corporation trying to get the Moors to wear a mask. So what do? We don't war back and forth with them. We do a court action on the spot, or we leave and go home and do the following. We lien Becky, Bob, and XYZ and the CEO of XYZ Corporation. We lien them by sovereign Moorish American consular court action. Okay, we have the lawful sovereign authority to remove Becky the corpse and Bob the corpse and XYZ Corporation off of our land and send them in their corpse status to Guantanamo Bay Prison. Well, when we do that, and then we go back to XYZ Corporation, it's no longer XYZ Corporation. It's now XYZ Company. And Becky and Bob are still there, but when Becky and Bob see the Moors come in who liened them and did a court action on them and told them they will not be a corpse on our land, Becky and Bob then become our faithful subjects who are now back on the land as living subjects who carry out the sovereign commands of the Moors. Those are the ones that you give the dollarium to. But we must do our job. Our job is lien them, and you can do that if you think that you're going somewhere. Lien them and do it by court action and by affidavit. Lien them first before you even get there. Lien them. Lien anything in black ink and capital letters. And if Becky and Bob are not acting in corporate status, the lien won't even bother them because they'll know they're not a dead corpse. And then you can take dollarium and say, here's a copy of the Constitution, here's a copy of a lien, a court action, and here is a sovereign affidavit telling you all what to do with this dollarium. XYZ Corporation does not have the authority to do anything. However, when we give our dollarium and sovereign affidavit, we are giving them again to the subjects. We're not giving them to XYZ Corporation in black ink. We're giving it to XYZ Company in blue. How do we change dead corpses to living subjects in blue ink? A sovereign, living, universal, commercial code 1 lien. Okay? and court action affidavit. And we say lien and court action affidavit because our liens are now have the court action language at the top of them. Okay, in red ink and on the jure Moorish National Republic Federal Government letterhead. Our liens place the corpses and corporations deep in eternal debt, but we allow the subject to live on our land. Okay? So we want to be sure that we clarify who we're giving the dollarium to so that there's no confusion among our nation and our nationals who we're giving dollarium to. No, we're not giving dollarium to corpses because we've done our job and liened that corpse out of here. That's what the liens are for, and that's what they do. They remove the corporate status because, see, corporations, when you put them back in debtor status and send them to debtor's prison, you're actually sending their actions and all of the paper debt to jail. And then the living being is standing there subject to its creator, his or her creator. I won't say it, his or her creator. Okay, so let's be clear. Becky and Bob have two ways that they do things. They either do it as a corpse, and that's how they keep other corpses in line. You know, they're supposed to tell corpses, yeah, you got to wear a mask, you're a corpse. That's what they're supposed to do. And then when they see the Moors come, they get in subject status and back off. And that's not something they're going to do without us saying, hold up, I'm your creator. All rise and stand. All rise and stand. So let's be clear again, for, you know, it's a spell. We are not giving dollarium to corpses because corpses can't use it. Corpses and corporations cannot use dollarium. Subjects can and shall. And the way the subjects use them is, it's not for the subject to sign it and go out shopping. No. Because dollarium will not work with a subject's autograph on them. Because subjects write in blue. Dollarium is for those who write in red and all lowercase letters. That's the only way they'll be honored, because that's what we all said. That dollarium is honored when it has a sovereign autograph on it. And a sovereign autograph looks like that. It's in capitis diminuto nolo, which means no loss of status. So I wanted to make that clear. I definitely wanted to clarify that because that seemed to be a little bit of a sticking point since the time that we've introduced dollarium. But we have to be sure and clear as to who we are and who we're talking to, and we get to determine that by what we do. If we know we've liened them and done a court action on them, or liened by court action, because, you know, our liens have the court action language at the beginning, then we know we're talking to a subject. We know that by what we did. And then our documents always precede us. That means they go, before we show up anywhere, stating who we are, our documents make that special appearance first. So all Moors are encouraged. If you know you're going somewhere, announce your soon arrival. Announce the second coming of the Savior, please. Announce the return of the Christ by sovereign affidavit, stating who you are, notifying them that they're not in court status because you've raised them from the dead. The bibliophilio text says the dead in Christ shall rise first, and those that remain shall be caught up to meet us in the air. And that's actually a misinterpretation and a mistranslation. It's those that are alive those who are alive and remain, that's the rest of us, shall be the heirs, that's us, the Christ. But we have to be alive, and that's why we have to come out of that black status. We must be the living at all times. Okay? So we govern all affairs on our land, and this last little piece right here is with regard to, how, again, why we do everything as court action. We govern all affairs on our land, okay? Because I had, you know, more who's a little bit still sweet with regard to the consular venue and why we have consular venues on our land. Our land is all land, that's first and foremost. But we are to govern all affairs on our land, period, to include diversity of citizenship and nationality issues and affairs, which requires that we have our own consular venue on the land. How do we govern if we don't have our own court? No, we are not on foreign soil. The soil and the land belongs to the heirs. But the foreigners here are on foreign soil. It's foreign to them, not to us. And we will never leave the decisions about land disputes, about natural resources, about commercial conflict, and all of that up to foreigners on our land. That's what we just came out of. Because we didn't know that we're supposed to be the court, that we're the only Article 3 court on the land. And that's all Moors are the only Article 3 courts on the land. And each Moor is their own Article 3 court. So you can govern your own affairs by Article 3 action. We will never leave that up to foreigners, and we certainly are not going into foreign courts on our land to settle land and property and heirship disputes. We don't leave that up to foreigners. That's up to us. And the foreigners will come to our courts to do so. They don't own anything in the first place. They don't own anything here. Everything belongs to the heirs. And who has the authority to say that? By court action, we do. And no one else does. So we want to be sure that there is clarity in that respect. Okay? That's why we have consular courts, because there's no place on this earth that's not our land. There's no place in the universe that's foreign to us. There's no land that exists anywhere, even in our dreams, that's not our land. Our ancestors had consular courts and consuls. It's mentioned in the Constitution. It's mentioned in the treaty. It's mentioned in all of the previous documents, the Code of Hammurabi, all of them. Even the Declaration of Independence, it talks about the supreme judge of the world. That's us, when put in red in all lowercase letters. We've always had consular courts on our land for the benefit of the foreigners who are here. We're not leaving land disputes up to them. No, they don't have the authority to go back and forth about who owns what. And they are aware of that. They know that already. So with that being said, Empress Portia, Islam.
You hear me clear, right?
Are you nervous at this point?
Well, I'm not.
Okay.
I don't
think. You're not ready?
Oh, I'm ready.
Oh, okay. Okay. So
I do this right
I'm
now.
going to pass. I'm going to pass the presenter portion to you so that you can present your announcement to the heirs.
Okay.
Let me know if you see the presenter piece. Because where dollarium are concerned, we have to make the transition, okay? And I will preface Empress Portia's announcement with we have to make the transition, and it's we're doing some lab work on the best way to do that, because we know that we're the only ones who have the authority to do the demonstration, okay? And so we're going to be working with as many Moors as possible on this particular type of demonstration. So, Empress Portia, did you see the presenter piece there come through?
I did. It told me to go to settings, so I'm still privacy settings, so I'm trying to figure that out.
Well, you can just tell them. You can just tell them what it is that you have.
Okay. Well, I do jure. Oh, Islam, everyone. But I do jure, and I have been posting some of my jure on Facebook. And I was asked by one of the Moors, he may be on the call, if I would be selling my jure, or if I would be accepting sovereign dollarium. And
Can you speak up just a little bit, Empress? Can you speak up just a little bit?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Better? You can hear me better? Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, so he asked if I was accepting Moorish dollarium, and I told him not at this time. And I would say maybe 2 minutes later, like a flash of lightning, I received a phone call from Empress Light. Oh, let me see something. And I knew it was because of what I said. Something told me, you know, maybe I should keep it private, but then I went ahead on and put it out there public, you know, his reply. And she said, she asked if she had a proposition that if I would sell some of my jewelry and accept half dollarium and half fiat. And that sounded, you know, I think I'll do that. I thought about that because we do have to get the dollarium out there to actually start using it. And I was also wanting to do it in hopes that it would encourage other merchants to start using or accepting dollarium, maybe partial, since we're still in transitional phase, partial, and using a dollarium. So what I have done was I had put together a slideshow, but my computer is kind of delayed right now. But anyway, I will be posting some of my products on Facebook, and in there I'll make sure I'll put the dollarium, you know, how much I'm accepting. For the most part, it will be 50% dollarium and 50% fiat, which I hope this works out really well. I hope you all like that, you know, and I'll put out some really nice products. But that's about it. I yield.
Islam, Empress, do you want to email me your slides? Because I can put them up on the screen if you email them.
Oh, okay.
It's working right. If you want to do it then.
Okay, let me see if I could do that.
Islam nobility.
I have a confession to make. Just because I heard what Empress is doing. Yesterday I had a conversation with another Moabitess. I'm not gonna call her information out. She'll speak if she's here and wishes to. But we were talking about her buying transportation, and I offered to sell her one that I have for part dollarium and any part silver if she has any silver coins. So that's another way to do it, as of course the EFTs, which are not fiat but electronic funds transfer. So, you know, I offered to do that. I've already also offered to do other things of that nature with other people, and I'm actively working to set up international business, using larger sums of dollarium, because we have to get it. We must get it into circulation. It's not a choice. It's a must. And just as we talk about the fake Jews and the fake whats and whatever, they're fake because we let them. And so I just wanted to let that be known, that the dollarium business is open.
Yeah.
It's on.
It's on.
Yeah.
My computer is very delayed, so I'm happy.
Okay. Well, Empress, we'll get it from Facebook, and then whenever time permits, we'll post it. Again, we'll pass it on Facebook, on social media, for the more people.
Yeah,
okay.
I think that was a very good proposal, because we do need to get our dollarium in circulation, as he just stated.
Yeah.
We do need to get it out there and actually encourage other merchants who have services and goods, so we can know where to go to spend our dollarium, and we don't have to worry about the supermarkets and the banks. We just would exchange and do trade between each other.
Well, Empress, here's something that that as we have been working through this with this new moon energy, the ancestors said that we could easily, and this is a demonstration that I'm going to be doing, easily lean the grocery store, because we've been doing it anyway, lean them by court action, and then tell them that we can do half and half on the products in the grocery store. Why not?
Yeah. Until the fiat falls off, and then we're totally dollarium.
Islam?
Well, the system is already set up for it, because it will take half a payment in one form and half a payment in another form.
Yeah, that's true.
People do it all the time.
Yeah.
So all we have to do is get ready to put that forth and do things so that our dollarium stays allodial and sovereign. Okay, it's going to stay allodial and sovereign. And that it's honored by those on our land because they honor the Constitution, and then have it do a side-by-side where it's partial one and partial the other. Even with other things that are being sent back and forth, just like Justice Jure just said, he did it with part dollarium and part silver. We're in transition. That's what the transition should look like. I know in our last meeting, I said that those two don't mix, and they don't mix. That's why when they do it in a transaction, they do one first, and then they do the other. They don't combine them together and say, okay, now you got the whole, because they're combined together. No, they bring part of it up first, and then they say, okay, what's the other type of or exchange method that you're using? And then they bring up the other. So we're going to be doing that with dollarium as well. And I don't mind going to the headquarters of these companies that are on our land that we've liened and all of that, and letting them know that that's a command. Actually, it's not a, we're not even, but we do want to keep peace on our land, and we don't want anyone going hungry, whether they be citizen or national. But we got to get that fiat piece. That's all of that's out. And to be honest with you, no one's using fiat anyway, really. Most are not. Some still are pulling them green things out of their wallet, but most people are not. When you go to the grocery store, very seldom do you see people pull that stuff out and use it. Usually they're sliding cards or doing some other method, but generally it's sliding cards. And so, we're going to be putting that forth to the companies and the resources that are on our land, that it be half and half or something like that while this transition takes place, where the fiat is not there anymore.
Islam.
And half is not going to really necessarily be you take out fiat and you take out dollarium. It'll be you take out dollarium and then you swipe a card on a sovereign account. That's the preferred method.
Mm-hmm.
That's the preferred method. But again, as we go, we'll talk through it and think it through and demonstrate it through and work it through. Justice Noble Yearmore.
Islam. I wanted to bring up something else concerning the way to get things to move. Think like a business owner, which you are, and how business owners work. Whatever you're selling is a value, and you accept value for it too. So you can take part dollarium and part some other property that the other more owns but does not really have a need for it and has more. What we have to do is every second we think about getting something or buying something is how to put that dollarium in place. And remember this, it's great that we do it among ourselves, because one of the secrets of growing your neighborhood, so to speak, is to let your dollariums go through your neighborhood at least 7 times before it departs the neighborhood.
Mm.
And the neighborhood can be anywhere. All Moors are neighbors. Islam. I yield.
Wow, that is major. Go ahead, Nabil.
Islam. So, Empress Light, the basis of our lien, when we lien these businesses, so we can go forward with dollarium, would it be, I forget, would it be Article 1, Section 10?
Yes, and that's actually not even the only one. There are other articles in the Constitution that that can be referred to as well.
Okay, because I'm trying to come up, create a basic format for that lien to go ahead and remove the fiat and put the dollarium down. I'm trying to come up with a basic template or format for that particular lien.
Yes, that's a great idea, and all Moors are encouraged to come up with a format that that you craft as well, and then share among us those formats that you come up with.
Okay. All right. Islam, thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. We need as many Moors as possible to be writing those affidavits, as many as possible. Because we are going to have to teach that to our heirs, etc., as well. So, and we all want to be competent, and we want our affidavits to look and sound alike, you know. So, alike for the most part. We want them to look similar, but you say what you want to say. Each more express themselves the way that they choose to express themselves. So, with that being said, the dollarium piece is about to grow exponentially. I want to also mention quickly, and I did not tell him that I was going to mention on this particular platform just yet. However, I'm sure that he will not mind if I mention briefly. We have been seeing quite a bit of activity coming from the Bank of Atmorium. And I know that there's been some, you know, there's been some Moors who say, oh, that's terrible, and some Moors who say, oh, they did a good job. You know, I know that it hasn't been perfect, but it hasn't been perfect for any of the processes that we've all put forth per se, because we're in growth status. So we are in talks with the Bank of Atmorium. We're just looking at some connections that we can make with them, so that we can just see where to go from here, basically, because we have the banks that are on our land. Those banks are ours too. Yes, they are. They need to be leaned, and many of you need to go ahead and lean them. You know, we've leaned them. But we also want to acknowledge our own, okay? The things that we do don't have to be perfect, but we do have to do them. We want to acknowledge our own in everything we do. Whether we agree with one another or not, that's not the issue. The issue is we're one blood, okay? There are some Moors who don't agree with the things that we're doing, but we love them still, and they're still our blood, and we have to hear them too. You know, so we're going to move forward with that in mind, with our unity as our top priority. And when I say our unity, I'm talking about our unity earthwide. There are Moors that are doing things overseas that they're bringing to us now. And some of the stuff, I know that capitalism is ingrained in what they're showing us, but that doesn't mean throw out what they're bringing. They're ready to do trade with us as well, and exchange and commerce and merchant actions as well. But we got to get on the same page even with the money piece, you know. Their leadership over there, even in their sleep, they were telling them that the American Moors are the primogenitors and that they've got to wake up, that we have to do everything we can to get them to wake up. Now that we're awake, they're absolutely 100% ready to do business with us, but we got to be doing business with each other first so that we can work out any of the, you know, the kinks, so to speak, and it's not really kinks, but that we perfect our processes with each other. And that's going to take patience with each other. It's going to take being able to disagree and still be together and agree to be unified. And if you get into an issue with other Moors, to just agree between you and the other Moors to take a step back from each other for a minute to clear the energy, and then agree that, okay, it may take us a year to come back together, but we have to agree to come back together. Even though we're not getting along right now, we still have to come back together because we're one blood, and we came together for a reason. So that's the way that we're looking at everything that's going on, everything that we're doing. We know that the dollarium is the right way to go. We see the avenues opening up now for the dollarium to be used on an earth-wide scale. We just have to, it's kind of like we're finding our way to that place, okay? And that to me is the journey that we're enjoying. So any other Moors who have businesses, please send me a text message or contact me by phone so that we can do something where you can do part dollarium and then part whatever else that you do, Cash App, PayPal, whatever, because we know that that stuff is going away, Cash App and PayPal and all of that. That stuff is leaving so quickly it's not even funny. And we have to have something in place, which we do already, which is dollarium. And again, dollarium can be sent just as electronically as Cash App and everything else. We've shown that. We're going to continue to show those processes and put them forth so that we can have our own banking going electronically, so that if and when we're ready. Okay. And it's not even a matter of if, we know that it's a matter of when. So with that being said, are there any other questions, comments, or anything of that nature?
Islam.
Islam nobility.
I believe in what you were saying as as long as you're competent. Interpretations from one belief to another, as reiteration goes between interpretations and the compromise, where you best set example is what is the beginning form. So we are experimenting on example, demonstrating, then put forth as a forward model. So therefore, everyone can understand this is the basis principle. Therefore, it has to have a theory behind it to show the formula does work. I love that representations, but sometimes we also have to remember, like they said, what goes up must come down. So we can't keep going up until we understand what comes down. So basically, if someone else disagrees with someone else, there's always a compromise, simple to simplistic from each other, and it's not that hard to disagree with. It's just a compromising that I meant no harm, and I meant no harm to you, and you meant no harm to me, but you can't stand the grounds where the fact is you believe this, and I'm trying to show this. But the problem is, if it becomes two, then you need a third party to exemplify. My understanding is, if we are self-governed, the other problem that comes is self-denying. Now, if you put forth, this is where it becomes a situation with other people saying that I'm going to push my saying so far that I can't see. And I'm not disagreeing with him, but I'm looking for a compromise where I agree some part of what you're saying and you agree some part of what I'm saying. But the problem is it should not be taken personally that will hurt the transaction.
Islam. I think that that's a level of maturity that we're all continuing to demonstrate. Definitely a level of maturity that we're continuing to demonstrate among one another. It's going to be important because there's not going to be anyone stepping in between us talking about policy enforcement and fake courts and all of that. It's not going to be any of that. So we have to be honorable in all that we do. And I know it's going to work out great. I know that it is. It won't be without its occasional hiccup. But that's part of the journey. That's part of the journey. Because what I do know this about all of us, I don't care who we are, we want our freedom. And we'll do whatever it takes to get it. And we have it already. We just needed to acknowledge that. We're free. No one tells us what to do. We must be who we are. period. So, are there any other questions, comments?
Yes, I have a comment.
Yeah.
Just addressing what the brother was saying just about what goes up must come down. We must think carefully when we're making statements like that, because there's nothing going up. We're bringing things down to this level from above, because that is where we go. We work upstairs in the dark, high places of the mind, and then we bring those things down to work. So there's nothing that will go wrong with whatever we bring down. It's what we try to take up into places that it has no ability to survive, because it doesn't have the energy holding capacities.
Hey, Jeremore, we want to see you doing dollarium, taking dollarium.
We even have pet animals that come in and do this, but even them, we'll help them too. You know, they're not to be shunned. And someday they'll wake up and realize, oh my goodness, how come they didn't strike me, you know, dead or something. So I just wanted to say that we're bringing things down from above because we are the ancient ones returned. And we're coming from on high. Islam.
Islam. Well, and you know, if you really think about it, you know, once you get above a certain strata, it has to be an honor situation where we do things honorably on our honor, because it's not going to be where, you know, interlopers come in and exact their will. It's different from that, you know. And so with what we're doing, nowhere to go but up. That's the only direction we go in. So thank you to everyone who has sent dollarium. Let me make sure that I remember that. Those who've been sending in your dollarium donations, I am just so overwhelmingly appreciative of that. And I got them. Empress Carolyn Wiggins L., thank you and your consort and your heirs for the dollarium that you all are sending in. I'm just so, and many others. I can't name them all or appellation them all right now, but I'm so grateful for that, because it means everything that we trust one another to come out of that system and exist together outside of that system. That it's amazing. It is amazing. And so I'm honored. Thank you to all who sent dollarium, and the donations just keep coming in. I haven't gotten to them. If you put markers on your email to see when I see it and I haven't seen your email yet, please don't worry. I'm getting to them as quickly as I possibly can. In between studying, fasting, doing the calls, printing dollarium, assisting other boards, I'm getting to them as quickly as I possibly can. Thank you so much. That's everything right there, because all we had to do was prove that we trust our own exchange medium. And once we prove that, which is already done, then no one else can say that's not your medium of exchange, because it is. And now we're moving into commerce. Any merchants, any vendors, any commercial entrepreneurs, moorishe entrepreneurs or otherwise, or subjects, that want to start using dollarium in addition to what you're doing, 334-294-9828. It is best to text first and then call. That way I'll know to look specifically for your call. 334-294-9828. We're going to be going out and speaking with merchants all over our land, and notifying that it's dollarium in addition to whatever other medium of exchange, but that's what we're putting forth because it's constitutional. So, with that being said, peace and grand rising to the sovereign, original, indigenous, natural, divine heirs.
Grand rising, Islamic. Grand rising. Peace and love. Grand rising.
Peace and love.
Islam. Islam justice for
Grand failure, love.
Peace and love.
Go spend your dollarium at the bank.
Islam justice appeal.
Come on, Pauline, let's see with the bank.
Islam.
The bank, Pauline.
Islam.
Why aren't we seeing you at the bank, Pauline?
Long live the empire.
Islam.
Peace and love.
Islam. Peace and grand rising to the heirs. Islam.
Islam. Peace and love.
We got this.
I'm going to go ahead in 3, 2, 1.
Love you. Thank you very much.